Hi, Manuel. Um, I'm looking here at your writing. First of all, the expression here is on the one hand, on the other hand. Now, be careful. Look, if you're writing this here, why are you writing this here? Why are you writing two completely different things? Um, I can see here that really you didn't do a lot of checking when you wrote this. Look at the spelling here, and the spelling here, and the spelling here. Yeah, we're talking, it's a bit of a chapuza, Manuel, really. These things, as you can see, they're underlined in red. That's because the spelling is wrong, and all you need to do is right click, and there's the spelling correction, and you've got the same thing in Word. So, really, there isn't any excuse for these kind of spelling mistakes appearing now in any writing in English, as long as you take the time to find the correction, which also helps you to remember the correct spelling. Now, to get back to this structure here, this is a structure on the one hand, on the other hand, which is taught over and over and over again in bachillerato. And consequently, students overuse it. It's not that frequently used in English, and it has a limited function. So most of the time when students use it, they really don't use it in the right way. What it's for is contrasting ideas or arguments. So you might say, for example, let's see. On the one hand, it can be said that Real Madrid is one of the best football teams in Spain. On the other hand, given the amount of money that it spends on new players, it really doesn't do as well as it should. Okay? So you've got to kind of contrast. On the one hand, people say that. On the other hand, other people say that. Yeah? It's that use. Now, you don't really have a contrast here. You've got two things which are different, but they're not like two sides of an argument. Yeah? Which is really what we use it for. And you don't always have to use this one. If you use this, it more or less makes the first one redundant. Okay? But don't use it unless you're really, very clearly contrasting two ways of doing things, two arguments, two different points in a debate. Not your fault. This is just taught over and over again in bachillerato, and it's taught in a way which is very inappropriate, and students overuse it. Okay, now let's see. My father worked in his company as the executive director. Okay, that's good. The company makes engines for the planes. Now, why have we got a capital P here? Doesn't make sense. And if we say los aviones, I'm saying which planes? Okay. If it's planes in general, then we'll remove the. And obviously, there's not absolutely a reason for aviones to have a capital letter. Okay. He's an engineer. No, he isn't. He's an engineer, as we can see. His mind function. No. His mind function. No. Mind is mente, right? So mente. I think you mean his main function. What's happening here is that it isn't corrected by the spelling corrector because this is the right spelling for mente. But as you read it slowly to yourself, you should see that this is the wrong word. Now, sometimes as we read forward, we're only interested in meaning and we don't notice little mistakes like this. If you read backwards slowly, you will see something wrong here, I think. Anyway, its main function is supervising the workers who work, okay, it's plural, right, in the creation area. I'm not sure what this is, really. Research and development, okay, is supervising and making. You've got to keep the gerund going. This is a list, right, of two things. If you use the gerund here, which is correct, then you use it here as well. Making sure, notice that, making sure or ensuring that the engine made, I think you mean engines made, will work without problems. Okay, will function appropriately. On the other hand, my mother works. Now, notice here, you've got, good, okay, this is good. Works as an accountant, an apple, an average day, an accountant in the financial department of the same company? We don't know. And his function, no, this is a woman, right? Her function is controlling the payments of a bank to the company. I think probably we mean here monitoring, controlando the payments of a bank to the company. And also no, they're not costumers. They don't make costumes. They're customers' payments. So really, I'm not too impressed with this manual. It's not very long. It doesn't contain an awful lot of information. And apart from that, it's just like it contains far too many basic errors, which really you should have noticed, especially the spelling. And especially, workers' works, this kind of thing, things that you have to notice before you give in a piece of work. You can't give in the first version. What you give me is the first version. When you've written the first version, you've got to check it very carefully, make the necessary changes, and then send it to me. Okay? Don't send me first versions, because inevitably first versions contain an awful lot of mistakes. Okay, bye-bye.